George Kittle has recently signed his big contract. Congratulations, George. Well deserved. And I knew the Niners were going to get this done. I mean, there's no way you let a player of his caliber walk away from the franchise. No way. The point of the draft is to draft players like Kittle and keep them when they, outperform their value, when they become the best player at their position. So to me, it was a no-brainer to extend Kittle, regardless of what that price per year was. And I think the Niners got a great deal, a really great deal for just how much of an X factor he is on that football field. As you all well know, Kittle signed a 5-year deal worth up to $75 million. More than half of that is guaranteed. It's all about the guaranteed money. But this move to me means more than just keeping the best tight end in all of football. The Niners are a completely different franchise than they were like 4 years ago. And it starts with the owner, Jed York. I mean, talk about reinventing himself these past 5 years. People forget the timeline of the Niners, the past few coaching hires, and how much of a joke the Niners had become. They were a laughingstock in the league. A 5-time Super Bowl champion franchise was a laughingstock. And it started with the firing of Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh was fired. People obviously hated it. He took us to the Super Bowl, a year ago, and it just caught them by surprise. Why the firing? But evidently, as the 2014 season went on, it was clear. The writing was on the wall. He's done. Here comes Jim Tomsula, 2015. And this was a laughable hire by former GM Trent Baalke. And Jed York, of course. He approves all decisions. But Jim Tomsula, he was already over his head. First press conference was terrible.
Confident that through the process we found the right guy. That guy is Jim Tomsula. I'd like Jim to come up here now as the 19th head coach of the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay. I'm not a note guy, but I want to make sure I thank some people here. And nothing has been the norm. So I am used to not normal. And I'm very comfortable in not normal. Okay. I didn't say I was not normal. My particular instance in it, I hit got some workouts, I got some film done.
Will this team win the Super Bowl a year from now? And what's your definition of winning with class?
Okay. Will this team, I'm not going to sidestep you, okay?
I mean, I don't blame Jim Tomsula because he was asked, do you want to be in this position? Of course, it's a once in a lifetime, I'm sure, for him and his family. But the Niners should have known better. I mean, what a complete disaster that was. And going back to Trent Baalke, who, by the way, was just terrible at drafting position players. Maybe good on defense, but when it comes to the skill guys, his track record speaks for himself, and it's a bad one. But you forget, when the Niners announced Tomsula as a head coach, players retired. That's how much of a bad hire it was. You had really Hall of Fame players retire from your football team. Patrick Willis was like, I'm out. Chris Borland, remember linebacker Chris Borland? The young linebacker who looked like he was going to be a star in this league? He was out. I mean, most of it had to do for health reasons, he says. But the Tomsula hiring probably didn't help to try to convince him to come back. Justin Smith, the Cowboy, he retired in 2015. Those are, 3 critical pieces to the team that just said, I'm out, I'm done. Tomsula, of course, lasted a year. And to York's credit, he took it on the chin and moved on quickly from that experiment. But then here comes Chip Kelly, 2016. It was worse. How can it be worse? The season was overshadowed with the Cap kneeling during the national anthem to protest police brutality, but the play on the football field was atrocious. The Niners had me kneeling too, but it was just because they were so bad, I couldn't stand them. Another 4-year contract York hand it over. And again, to his credit, he took it on the chin. Fired Chip Kelly and Trent Baalke, thank God, and started from scratch. Something he hadn't done in a while. This is where maturity stepped in. I love the move for both John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. I knew that we needed to get younger a head coach. I mean, stop trying to hire these old defensive-minded coaches that don't know much of scheme. Stop trying to get the college coaches that don't translate over to the NFL well. Chip Kelly. Get someone who has been in the league for a while, has his offense ready to go, and that was Kyle Shanahan. And Shanahan was not only the young hot shot that had just made it to the Super Bowl with the Falcons, he has NFL in his DNA. He earned that spot with every stop he's made in his career, from Cleveland, Houston, Washington, Atlanta, and now the 49ers. He was leaving his mark. He's left his mark, I should say, on this league. And Lynch was doing TV analyst for a long time. He's been in the rooms and meetings with coaches, and he was a phenomenal player. He knows football. In his 3 years, he's already done a better job than Baalke can ever dream of. But the owner ultimately makes the decision on who he hires. Jed York, I think we can all agree here, has made the right move hiring these two guys. They've built this team to be one of the best rosters in the NFL right now, after being the lowest of the low when they started in 2017. It's rare to see a combo like this work their way up the ranks, and we've seen it up close and personal. These two guys know what they're doing, and York doubled down again this offseason, extending both of them. And by doing so, it leaks over to the players. The team has rewarded Kittle of what he's deserved. That contract means more to him and his family than people can ever imagine, I'm sure. And now you don't have this lingering thing of, oh, is he going to hold out? Is he going to play? And as a player, you're not even thinking about a contract now or getting hurt and risking your chances to get a big deal because it's already done. And that's why great franchises get this done. It's so hard. It is hard. How many players hold out every year because their team doesn't want to pay them? George Kittle got paid, got what he deserves. He's a great guy, great player, and I'm excited as a Niner fan. I mean, the team hasn't only rewarded him, they've rewarded guys like Joe Staley, who's recently retired. So keeping your players happy, it's a good recipe. Everything we've said the Niners needed to do this offseason, the Niners got it done. They've taken care of business every step of the way. The Niners are a well-run franchise right now, and I think York deserves a lot of credit for how he's managed to get out of his own way. So keeping the morale high in that building, I think, means more than people can ever think. And right now, this franchise has to be one of the best run franchises in the NFL right now. They're getting everything done. Everything the Niners fan base has asked of them, they've gotten it done. They've extended both their head coach and general manager. They've signed the players they needed to retain. They've kept players happy like Mostert. So all in all, it's all about playing football this year. Everything, all the business is out of the way for now. There's always next year where more players pop up. A lot of players need to get paid. Now, the work for the 49ers is not done. It's just getting started. We talked about how tough this division is and how hard it is for the teams to make it to the Super Bowl back-to-back. But the Niners have all the pieces, all the right people in control to make that happen. So I'm looking forward to that.